Hello everyone. Today we are going to jump right into it and check out each of the characters that I've made for my Scooby Doo project. Now we're going to start with the Phantom or the Ghost. I've heard people say Phantom or Ghost, so I always call it the Ghost because it just looks like a typical, stereotypical white ghost. So this is the ghost of Vazquez Castle. I think that's how you say it, Vazquez or something like that. But he's pretty cute. Now the little prop that I made for him is his little telescope. If you've seen the episode, you know it starts out with him watching the gang from the top of the castle. So there's him and his little prop. And so let's see who's next. All right, now next we have Redbeard's ghost, and of course he is a pirate. His little prop is this little sword that I had made. So I'm gonna lay that down right while he's turning there. He's one of my favorites just because I have like an obsession for pirates. So he's pretty cute. Now the next one here is Elias Kingston. I can't remember. Oh no, I can't remember the episode name. But he's just some creepy dude that turns people old. The prop that I made for him, well, it didn't start out as his prop, but it became his prop later on because it just looks like something from the episode with the crystal ball and the other stuff that's on there. So that totally looks like something that could be his prop. And next, we've got the Phantom. I think in the show there are actually two, or actually, I think there's more than two. But this is the Phantom, the Green Phantom, the Giggling Phantom. There's several names that people call this one. This is actually from my favorite episode called A Night of Fright is No Delight. Even if you just watch one episode of Scooby Doo, watch that one. That is my favorite for some reason. It's just got so many fun little Scooby Doo things about it. I mean, everything that should be in a Scooby Doo episode is in that episode. Just all the fun little things. And it's a really fun, entertaining episode. So watch that one if nothing else. Now, his prop is the chain around his wrist. If you see the episode, the chains are kind of a big deal. They always make this creepy little chain rattling noise that always gave me the creeps when I was a kid. Of course, it seems like every episode had something about it that freaked me out. And for some reason, it was the chain sound from this episode. But anyway, that's his little prop. Next, we've got the Snow Ghost from the episode called That's Snow Ghost, I think is the name of that episode. His prop is this log, and inside that little log, he smuggles some jewels. So there's the little jewels. Something about the episode, he's trying to get these jewels, so he hides them in a log, which is kind of what I just said. But anyway, you just have to watch it. I don't like saying too much about the episodes, but he's pretty cute. He's really big compared to the other characters. You can see how tall he is to Shaggy. So he's really big because the other characters are like the same height as Shaggy and the other characters. So that one's really big. Um, and then next, we have the tar monster. This is probably my favorite just because he's made out of real tar. And then his little prop is this little map to the inner sanctum. So that's pretty cute. I put a little tar on that. So again, this one's probably my favorite. And I think the fan favorite is probably this one here. This is the 10,000 volt ghost. And I kind of like how the camera keeps trying to want to focus. Well, now it is focusing. I was wanting it to, oh, there it goes. It kind of is doing it now. Where it kind of wants to not focus because it looks like he's like sparking or like, ooh, yeah, check that out. Oh my gosh, that looks awesome. So it's kind of cool. This is one time I actually want my camera to kind of go crazy. It's kind of like he's interfering with the electrical waves or something, but he's definitely a fan favorite because I know I got a lot of comments on this one. Now, the next one is the Miner 49er. Now, he's a little short guy. Now, let's compare how small this one is to the other characters. Now, even in the show, he's a little short guy. and he wanted to wear some stilts to make himself look taller and more scary. So there's the little stilts. Here is his little mining pick. And then his other little prop is this um, little lantern. And I don't know if it'll work here, but let's see if it'll do anything. Let me hold it up in the light. It glows in the dark when the light goes off. And that's something I forgot to mention about some of these others. Their faces will glow in the dark when, okay, that totally didn't work, but I do have my overhead light on, so that's probably why. But it does glow in the dark, and it's really cool. So, and then we've got Carlotta, the gypsy, who is actually played by a guy in disguise, and he also plays the vampire, the werewolf, and the Frankenstein monster. His little prop is this tapestry that's got these little fancy jewels sewn into it, and that is what he was trying to steal in his episode. And now we got to bring in Fred because Fred, of course, has to unmask the villain. This is the only one I made where he actually has a mask. And we're just going to grab that little mask off his face, which is going to show us who the guy really is. And so that's what he looks like without the mask. Next up, we've got the Black Knight. He is from the very first episode of Scooby Doo. And his little props are these. Well, one is the easel with the painting, which I actually painted myself, assigned the back of it. And then this little palette of paint, this little paint kit, and then the little palette thing here. So that's his little props, because in that episode, he is trying to steal the original painting, so he is painting replicas to replace the real ones. Now we've got one of the most recognizable Scooby Doo characters ever, or Scooby Doo villains of all time, of all the hundreds, if not thousands of, well, I don't know about thousands, but there are hundreds of Scooby Doo villains, and this is one of the most famous. Everybody knows this guy. This is Captain Cutler. I think he might be from the second episode. His little prop, well, he's got a fancy little prop. He's got this whole base that he gets with some sand, and then he's got these little seaweed pieces that go with him, and he glows in the dark also. I really, since my overhead light is on, I doubt that he's going to show up, but let's just turn the light off and see what happens with him. Okay, well, no, of course not. But anyway, I think I showed pretty good pictures of him in his episode where I was making him. But he is, of course, one of my favorites just because, again, he is a very popular character. Now we've got the Space Kook, and I think he's called the Spooky Space Kook. He's pretty cool. Kind of looks like a robot, kind of like a spooky space kook. And then his little prop is this little piece of ground with his footprints that glow under a black light. They actually will glow under a black light or when you just turn the lights out. Because in that episode, he left behind like these glowing footprints. And also, another character who did that, Captain Cutler, he also left behind glowing footprints. So these two guys both have the glow in the dark footprint. And that is all the well, that's 12 of the ghost, because I wanted to do 13 ghosts, and the 13th ghost is actually in the house. He's actually just kind of in permanent display on the wall as like a taxidermy uh gorilla. And if you see the episode, he doesn't actually become taxidermy, but he is the ape man. He is a gorilla character. But you'll see him in the house here in a little bit, and his prop is actually the trunk that is sitting under him in the floor, because in that episode he has a trunk. He's part of a movie crew, and he's got the costumes and stuff, and he keeps them in a trunk. So anyways, that's the 13th character, and then that's his little prop. So then I guess now we'll get on to the house and check it out. All right, so now that we've checked out the little ghost, we're going to check out the house, and we're going to start in the back. Wait a minute. Someone's pulling up back here. I'm going to have to go see who this is. I don't know what they could be wanting around here. I think I've seen that van a time or two cruising around. All right, that was just Scooby Doo and the gang. And of course, we're going to check them out. Here is Velma, and her little prop again is this little book and a magnifying glass. And the cool thing about that is I put my fingerprint in there. I know my fingerprint is too big for the scale, but I just thought it was still a cool, cute little detail to add to it. So there's how Velma turned out. And then next we got Daphne. And then she's got her little prop. It is a flashlight, and this little flashlight, I really globbed up the glow in the dark paint inside that so when the lights go out, it glows in the dark. And of course, it's not showing too great on screen, but in real life, when I turn my lights out at night, all these little parts glow, and it is just kind of weird and trippy, all this little glowing in the dark stuff and other things in my collection. So I just lay here in bed at night looking around the room at all the little glow in the dark stuff that I've got in my Scooby collection. And next we got Fred. Now he is the leader of the group, and he is always making traps and using ropes. So he's got his little rope as his little prop. Now we got Shaggy. Shaggy, of course, is everybody's favorite, I think. He's, of course, got his little sandwich here. That's his little prop. And, whoops. Let's see, there he is. Yeah, he's, of course, he's got to be your favorite. He's Scooby's best friend. So there's Shaggy. Then, last but not least, of course, we got Scooby Doo, the star of the show. Now, of course, he's made out of clay, and I'm so scared I'm going to drop him and break him. You know, he already lost one ear a while back, and I had to, fix that back. So I keep him in a special little spot in my room where I never have to really touch him or where he won't get bumped because it just freaks me out that he might get broke. So anyway, he's super cute, and his little prop is the Scooby snacks, which are actually in the back of the mystery machine. So here's the mystery machine. I'm so crazy with how this turned out. Back in there's his little box of Scooby snacks. You can see those there, and then those little albums and the pizza and all those little details. So this is the Scooby Gang. So back to the house, we are going to just kind of get a quick little look at it because we kind of pretty well saw this in other videos, but for people who are just now tuning in and hadn't seen it before, this is the outside of the back of the house, and it's not got a lot going on. I could have probably done a little bit more to it, but I think it's okay for what it is because it's usually just going to be sitting against the wall and you're not going to really see it. So here's the characters that I've put in the window. These three guys are from the same episode that has the gypsy. So they're all kind of back here hanging out together. And then, of course, on the side, we've got the witch and the zombie, which we'll get a look at that in the next clip. All right, so now to that little window that's got the witch and the zombie. This is one of my favorite episodes with those characters, and it's an episode called Which Witch is Which, and it's about these two guys who disguise themselves as a witch and a zombie, and they're looking for some money. But I won't say too much about any of the episodes. I'm just going to recommend that you all watch the Scooby Doo series, at least the first one. There ain't that many episodes to it, so it's just amazing. I mean, even at my age now, I love watching that cartoon. It'll just always be my favorite cartoon. Absolutely love it. But that first original series is definitely the one to watch if you're going to watch any of it. All right, so for the inside, I'm just going to kind of go up and get kind of a quick little look at it, and then we'll get a better look at all of it in the pictures. It's sort of a bittersweet little moment because I'm just so happy that it's done, but also it's kind of sad to not have to work on it anymore. But I've been getting so excited about my other projects coming up that I've been really, really anxious to get these others done. But again, at the same time, it's going to be sad not working on it. But it is fun to have it done so that I can just sit here now and look at it and enjoy it. That's always a good part about it. And then here is the attic, and it took me a second to come up with that word. Pay no attention to that dust blowing around. The attic space is one of my favorites, I guess, because there's so much in there. And then let me take my little rickety camera up here, get one more look at these cute little bats in the little attic area up there. I love bats. I wish I could own a real bat. They are so cute. But I hope y'all have enjoyed this project. It's been a long but fun project. My absolute favorite cartoon ever, Scooby Doo. I hope you've enjoyed this little series. I hope y'all like and subscribe so you can keep up with my next projects. I've got my mid-century house coming. I Dream of Jeannie. I'm making her bottle. I'm going to make the Munsters, which a lot of people have commented, showing a lot of excitement about the Munster house. And then my favorite that I'm most excited about to start will be the Beauty and the Beast. It's going to be a two-sided thing. One side will be the castle, and the other side will be Gaston's tavern. And, again, a lot of people have shown a lot of comments and interest in the Munsters, and I'm very happy about that. But where in the heck are the people excited for Beauty and the Beast? Again, I am so excited to start that one. That's going to be the first one I start in these next four projects. I'm going to try to, of course, work on all four at one time, just alter the weekends and just have something different every weekend. But I am just absolutely in love with Gaston at the moment. So that's probably my reason for being excited about that one. That was my favorite, one of my favorite Disney movies, and that's my mama's favorite Disney movie. So there's a lot of sentimental reasons for wanting to start that one too. But anyway, I hope y'all have enjoyed the Scooby Doo series. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.